So I'm being asked to share this experience, a couple of experiences with you. Oh, whew. Okay. Well, okay. So I'm giving 3 experiences. We'll see how much we can get through. But we're going to go back to the first one. Well, there's so many, but in this cocoon, we're going to go back to the first one. I live horizontally. I have to wear a neck brace. I have small permanent holes and tears in my spinal column and my spinal cord that my CFS fluid, they're called CFS leaks. So the fluid from my the cerebral fluid from my spinal cord pours out of my glands and nose and eyes and ears every day. And I have to drain my entire spinal cord before I can get my voice or movement, before my day can truly start. So I start each day with these little breadcrumbs that have now become loaves of bread. But because inflammation cannot live in a body that's energetically grounded. With chronic pain for the last 12 years, and having my spinal drain that happens the minute I stand up. And I usually get about 10 minutes or so before I'm like, major flow is coming. And so in 2022, I was given a breadcrumb that a body cannot hold inflammation in a body that's energetically grounded. So I started standing barefoot on the grass. And if you do it at sunrise and sunset, you get the gamma rays, which is like extra universal brownie points. So I would do that until my spinal drain would get really bad. And then I would come inside and then you're sitting still. In the beginning, it was very painful. And I would spend the entire 3 to 4 hours in just pain and darkness and dreariness, and my subconscious mind was just gray, not a great place to be. And as color has been brought into my world, and living in color and coloring chronic pain and utilizing color in all of the healing modalities that I do. When 2022 came around and I found barefoot grounding, I had a lot more color in my life. And I had been 2 years into the Feargiveness frequency of upcycling my traumas and insecurities. I'd lost about 60 pounds in trauma weight, and life was just, miracles were stacking up upon themselves. And so as I started to stand barefoot outside at that sunrise, I would do it every day, just not understanding the benefit it was giving me. I just knew that I needed to do it. And each day was a little bit of a breadcrumb that grew into toast, that grew into loaves of bread, that I now, it's a lifeline for me. And as I stand barefoot on the grass, I now have 2 feet prints in my grass because I do it all the time. The cats love to come with me. Animals love it. The morning birds, the tree connection. There's just so many connections that have been made since doing that. But ultimately, it came down to taking me from waking up at a pain scale of a 6 or an 8 down to a 2 or 4. The same thing, breath work does the same thing, but I didn't find that out until a little bit later. So as we 2021. Okay. 2021 was the barefoot. 2022 was the breath work. So we've had just years of these beautiful experiences with sunrise and sunset and all these fun things with the cats and birds. We've had eagles and hawks and a seagull, and we don't live by water. Just all these really neat experiences that are happening with barefoot. Traveling is not something that has been on our radar up until the last year, and traveling is very difficult because I need 2 pillows, one in the front, one in the back. I need to be very secured. Motion and vibration affect the spinal cord and affect my ability to stay awake because I will pass out from pain. So this January, I did a solo trip, which is my first solo trip on a plane, second solo trip on a plane. And it was just one way. I was flying from Seattle to Arizona to a friend, to stay with a friend. And I knew prior to going that I'd receive all of this information of planetary work and that planetary and galactic work we'd be doing with the Stargates, with the Mother Arc Pillar. So I'd been given this whole kind of download. Remembrance. That's another thing. Remembrance. Downloads are necessarily, it's already within you. It's just activating it, whether it's this lifetime, past lifetimes, ancient wisdom, galactical wisdom, advanced wisdom. It's all within you. You just have to listen. Get quiet and still enough to listen. So anyways, I went to Arizona. I was with a friend. I did the work on the plane and really amplifying that energy out there to all those that were on the plane with me, and really doing this crossover from Seattle, from the Emerald City, which is also a Mother Arc Pillar, to Arizona and Phoenix, which is a Mother Arc Pillar, and then there are Stargates. So I was able to travel to one of the Stargates to do the work, and I didn't know what I would be prepared for. But I'm told to share this story with you. We were staying it's called the Sky Rock Hotel or Resort. And we had got there. It was a Friday night. We watched this beautiful sunset and the sun coming down on the red rocks. And it was just right in front of where we were sitting on this balcony. We got to just watch the sun fall behind the rocks. And I got to tap into the energy of it and learn more from our galactical families and planetary families about what Sedona was and all the different vortexes and energy, and we just kind of got to map it out. As we were leaving dinner, there was a message that said there was a sound healing that happened every Friday night, and I had never been to a live sound healing. So the friends that I was with decided to do just to rest, and I went over to the sound healing. And so I had my pillow, I laid down on my mat, folded, had this beautiful indigenous blanket that was wrapped over me. And I was right in front of the one of the tables, and it had probably 6 to 8 sound bowls on it. So I laid down, and as it got started, I was just, didn't know what to expect. I was expecting to probably just kind of meditate in the energy. And the minute it got started and I fully connected to the energy, I was vibrating and my whole body was shaking, and my light language going off, and I was trying to contain it because there was other people in the room. And it was just like this otherworldly experience that had occurred during this hour. And at one point I was in this indigenous drum circle, and at one point I had fairies all over me, and doing this work. And what it was I was asked to, in that moment, make this monumental decision to change the course of my life by giving up my pain body, by surrendering my pain body to the Divine Father, Mother, God. That if I was willing to give up the pain, give up the story, give up everything that has made me for the last 12 years, that on the other side of that, my life would be unrecognizable. And as I laid there, I'm like, yeah, like I never really thought twice about it. I just surrendered to it. And I kid you not, like I felt like I was levitating off of this mat, off of the floor. And I, at one point, just was the frequencies that were flowing through the room. That when I released the density of pain, and there was this process of going through the cellular memory. And so this was all happening within this 1 hour. It was, ooh, I am supposed to mention that as I was walking to it, and I'm just kind of, when I walk, it's kind of like on my tiptoes so it doesn't vibrate my neck. And I had my pillow, I was kind of hugging, and I kicked or tripped on kind of this rock because I wasn't looking down. And it was a Sedona, it was a red rock. And so I picked it up and I put it in my pocket. I was like, I figured if it came across my path in such a drastic way, because I almost fell, that this rock needed to come with me. So we took it in there, and through this process of surrender, we were taken through the cellular memory of my entire body, and our body keeps score. So we have our cellular memory, we have the muscle memory, our organs store trauma, our muscles and ligaments, and not only does the blood and the water and the fluids we have inside of us, it all keeps score for us. I was connected to the fascia system, which I didn't even understand what that meant. I thought it was something in, like, literally in the face, but it was the fascia system, which is this network of, it's not even a tendon, not even a tissue. It's just this network of weaving and woven that's woven through us. And within this network, it holds frequency and vibration that runs through our entire body. And so I was given this going within to flow through with the sounds and the energy that I was within this room, to kind of ride the wave through the fascia system and all the different places it goes and how it connects, and shown how from our feet, just by making the fascia and the somatic healing, somatic nervous system, they kind of run coinciding, is what, there's a lot of connection there. So we're taken through the fascia system, and I was taken up through the feet and brought up through the Divine Mother and the red rock, and shown anywhere there's sand used to be water. So in that whole desert area of Arizona, it used to be a tropical water. It gave me the vibes of like Lemuria or Mu, Atlantis. It kind of gave me those Mediterranean vibes of energy that I was feeling. But I was kind of taken in this weightlessness form in the fascia, through the fascia, with the fascia. And I was floating along in the sea, this Mediterranean waters. And all the flowers were just so vibrant. There was so many different fish, and fish that didn't look like anything I'd seen before. And so as we were, each sound bowl and change of frequency and sound within the room would move you along within the fascia system. And it was moving up through the feet, and how it just embraces our ankles and our knees and our legs and back. And it is everywhere. And how this fascia system is key to us decoding, recoding our DNA, our muscle memory, our cellular memory. It is the key to doing it. And we may do all the work, and that's what it showed me, is so much work had been done. but we had missed out on this fascist system that was really holding those core. And these are all lifetimes. This is down to creation, like the seed of creation, that stardust was this beautiful pearl. It was kind of like a piece of sand that creates a pearl, and the iridescence and the rainbow colors that were coming out of it. So as I surrendered to it, went through this whole process, I just lost track of, I just allowed my body to do whatever I needed to do. And after it was over, the two facilitators, a husband and wife, as I was just kind of like, my whole body was vibrating. I could barely get my shoes back on and get up from the floor. And they had said that they had never experienced someone with so much purity of their energy, and how they were telling me their experience with the energy that I was releasing into the room, and how they ended up feeding off of my energy with the sounds that they make. And so we co-created this beautiful sound healing. And everyone else said, wow, this is the best sound healing I've ever had. And they were letting me know that it was because of this surrender that I was in, and I didn't even know that I was in. And so through that night and the course of the next 3 to 4 days, I was able to really like come to terms with what I was being asked to release that day. And then, because it was so massive of releasing that pain body, I didn't lose my pain body, but I released it from any hold that it had upon me, and allowed the universe to hug me, and the healing that was universally guided, and give me whatever I needed. And then it was synchronicities over the next few days of everything that fell into place, that was all supporting the pain body and the release of it. And through that, and after the integration and fully released, and drinking lots of water, and we had a mineral bath, and just everything that I needed since being home, the daily footsteps, standing barefoot on the ground, I craved it before. And now as I go out there, I am taken in this expansion and this elevation of different places I get to go, now that I'm able to, I've got over the hurdle of just the pain. When you stand out there just to release pain, you go through this process, and it can take 10 to 20 minutes, however long my drain has before I have to sit down. And I'm shown that when you allow yourself to release the trauma fully, or just like releasing those earthly attachments to our loved ones in the lower timelines, that you open yourself room for expansion, and that expansion elevates you, and that elevation allows you to illuminate. So it all plays in full circle. There was a grieving process, because I didn't know what to do with myself, that when I started to experience pain again. And that's when I was shown that you've released the lifetimes, you've released the stories, you've released it all. Now it's time for you to feel the pain as it comes, feel the grief, feel the sadness, feel the emotions. And now you have the tools of what to do with it. And you're not cluttered by all of the old pain that you had brought into it. You are just dealing with the new pain, the now pain, this moment, and it allows you to be present with it. And then you don't even have to put it aside to deal with it later, because you have all this other pain. You get to deal with it right then and there. love it. Self Reiki, whatever it's needed. And I'm receiving all these beautiful confirmations. You get to use your toolkit and your treasure chest. And then you don't have to store it. There's no need for you to store it. You get to let it go and flow through it. And that, again, releases and makes more room for expansion because you get to fill that in with more love and more light and more healing. And I'm shown that we will each have this opportunity to do that and to change your story. And I heard this beautiful message in a TikTok today that if your life was a movie and everyone was watching it, like your friends and family, people all over the world were watching this movie, what would they be screaming at you to do? As they're watching your movie and they've seen all your ups and downs and they've seen your dance through life, what is the one thing they would be like, will you just write the book? Will you just tell your story? Will you sing? Will you dance? Will you show your art? Will you read that story to the children? Whatever that is for you. Will you make the cookbook? Will you post the video? What are they screaming at you to do? And that was pretty powerful. Number 2. Ooh, okay. This one's a big one. It was Super Bowl weekend. I have been, okay, there's 2 things to this. Okay, so as we embrace, embody, expand, elevate, and illuminate, part of that is embracing and embodying and getting all the questions are within. So if we ask the questions of our higher self and receive the answers from the divine Father, Mother, God, or the Akashic records or your higher self, are you able and willing to follow it? And it comes out in, do you only ask if this is for my highest good when you know the answer? Do you not ask when you know the answer is going to be no, or you know it's not for your highest good? And they're telling me that you will be surprised at if you fully surrender to asking. You will be utterly shocked sometimes is the things that you think they're going to say no, that it's not for your highest good, are actually for your highest good, and why. So some of the things that had come up were whether that's what you eat, what you watch, what you do. Is this for my highest good? For me, I get the pops and clicks. I get the quantum light language that'll tell me no or yes. And then you flow through the yes. If it tells you a no, if you receive a no, however you do that, whether you're doing your finger locks or you're standing and you're flowing back and forth, whatever your no or yes is, then when you receive a no, they challenged me to ask more questions. So 2 things to that. If your husband asks you to go out to dinner, or your spouse or your partner, they ask you to go to dinner, you ask, is it for your highest good? And your highest good says no. Would you still go? They ask you to watch a movie and it's a horror movie and you don't like horror movies. Would you still do it? And you know it's not for your highest good because you asked and they told you no. It's those little tiny, not little tiny, but those moments where you are asked and you do what it's telling you is not of your highest good. It's not bad per se. It just kind of changes the outcome for things along the way. So you will be tested right now going forward and this started at the beginning of February, you will have tests put in front of you for you to see what decisions you are willing to make to fully embrace, to embody, to expand, to elevate, and to illuminate. Are you ready to do that? And it wasn't that, let's go back to the spouse or the going out to dinner, and it wasn't for your highest good. Asking the question, they're saying it's not even a challenge. It's just saying, is it the place that's not for my highest good? Is it the time frame? Is it the day? And you ask those questions to get the clarity, and then you utilize different pathways. So what is of my highest good? Would it better serve me and my spouse if we made dinner together? And what does that look like? Is it changing the place? It's not the act of it, it's the where you were going that needed to change. So that was powerful stepping into February, and that those tests have been coming up constantly. And it's interesting how many times we don't ask when we think we know it's not for our highest good. And they're telling me that you're the one that's setting that. If you would ask if that red velvet cupcake for Valentine's Day was for your highest good, you probably would have got a yes. And the reasons why. Sometimes the yeses are because your inner child needs it. Sometimes the yeses are because you're working through something, or you need the density of whatever that is. Sometimes the yeses are you don't really want to do it, but it's for your highest good. So it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. So those ones are impactful too. When you commit to and surrender to utilizing your highest good and to embrace and embody it, asking those questions consistently will expand you to future elevations and higher heights, higher vibrations, higher frequencies. So ask the question. Sometimes it's not the question that you ask, it's how you ask it. So going back to the Divine Father, Mother God, going back to your higher self, or digging deeper in the Akashic records, or just asking, okay, well, what is of my highest good, or how can I best serve thee today, is powerful. So as we went into Super Bowl weekend, I knew I didn't want to watch the Super Bowl. And I know it wasn't I assumed it wasn't for my highest good. And when I asked, is this for my highest good, or how do I have best support the Divine Father, Mother on that day, I was given this massive activation and invocation that I would be doing during the Super Bowl, and that I had to not necessarily watch it, but I had to be present in the moment of the Super Bowl, especially from the halftime show on. And I don't know why that was important. So that day, standing barefoot outside, without having to deal with the massive pain aspect of it, I was able to spend that spinal drain receiving the codes and keys and colors to this activation that I was going to be doing. And I was freaking blown away. First, we were asked to harmonize this underground system that harnesses energy. And though I had heard about it, and I'd heard different aspects of harnessing energy that was done through lower timelines, that the massive amount of people, not only at the stadium in the town of New Orleans, in the state of New Orleans, or of Louisiana, the massive amount of people that lived around and near, and the extension of the Super Bowl and its reach across the entire world, it was critical that I wasn't the only one. As I tapped into the energy, there were thousands of grid workers, planetary workers, divine mother representatives. This was on all levels, galactical, angelic, celestial. Everyone was on hand, all hands on deck that day for this work to be done. And so I was taken through this harvesting or harnessing energy system. And then I was from coming up from the divine mother. And this is why it all comes play all the little breadcrumbs to toast to bread. All the work we did on the Stargates and the Mother Arc and all of the vortexes and wormholes that we harmonized on all the work that we had done while we were in Arizona and that travel to and from, plus work that we had done in we were in Hawaii a few months ago, and then we were in Mexico at another spot for the eclipse. So all the work that we had kind of done, all these breadcrumbs we had put in place over 2024, were all being brought together to use in this moment. So the divine mother brought up this aqua light, all this aqua marine light that came up from the ground and filled in all of these harnessing, harvesting, all of these energies to harmonize. But this system went everywhere. And so I can't even tell you how I had to take time later in the days after to really process it because I had no clue, not to the severity of it. Under every amusement park, fair, theater, entertainment center, concert center, the entire like Broadway, all of the theaters in New York, all of the Disneylands, Disney World, every single amusement park and water park in the entire world, every place that two or more gathered. It was not only in stadiums of all sports, there were large religion had there were some to religion. This network of harnessing energy and joy is what, like, have you ever gone to a place and you were just like so excited to go and then you left and you kind of couldn't remember much about it, but you thrived to go back because you wanted that uplift of joy that it created for you, but then your memory was kind of hazy about it? Or you've gone to a concert, theaters, movies, this whole system, this whole network that was destroyed. It was transmuted, alchemized, and transcended, and it was harmonized, was under all of the NFL stadiums and everything that it connected to. Doing that part was massive. And then once that was done, we were able to come up and do that same healing waters of all the waters of the Gulf, all of the waters that came into New Orleans, and we were able to cleanse all that. And then we were able to take and go up into the stadium in all the colors. We had all of those halos. That whole pillar of halo had expanded to harness, that or expanded to encompass and to hug that whole area. We were able to fill in that energy, and we were able to heal, and we were able to harmonize and elevate, illuminate, alchemize for everyone that was there, and then everyone that was watching, and then all the families, all the sound, the halftime show. I was within this activation. I wasn't present for the show, But the work that was done and I could see all my brothers and sisters of light and all my galactical families and angelic families and celestial families. It was just like every single color of those rings were lit up, and there was a divine beings of light in each one, all categorized to they all had a different job. When we came together, we were able to not only do this for that event, we were able to use that event to just elevate, like literally levitate everyone and everything, and then kind of do that cutting of all those lower energies and frequencies and timelines. And that was pretty freaking massive. And that took days of integrating and resting once that was complete. Let me just see if there's anything else from that needed to be shared. Yeah, the upcycling, changing the colors and changing the narrative that was needed in the realization of what our childhood was like, living in the 3D time period that we were in, and our children's childhood. And it just, that now that's all been harmonized, and those places and spaces are safe to go, and that they're there to amplify the joy, not to harness it or harvest it. So it makes me want to go to those places now to check out the difference. And I live in a town that has a state fair that we had already harmonized for. It used to be a concentration camp years and years ago. So we already knew that there was some bad juju there, but I had no clue that this place that me and my children and I went every single year of my life and their life up until this last 12 years or so had such an impact that could be done, that was done, and now it's not, which was special. Number 3. Can you please share with me what number 3? Okay. So this week, do we have the energy for it? Yes. Okay. This week, when we talk about making more room and we go through the clearing and cleansing process and that barefoot walk that turns into a whole new world, once you can transition and transcend beyond pain, we were taken through this bird's eye view of calling back. We'd done our cleansing, but then we were taken into this calling back of our energy from our soul blueprint and our gestational and ancestral blueprint, calling back that energy and leaving love and light in this place. And so we've been doing this for probably 6 months or so, religiously every single day on a consistent. Before we would open our Akashic records, we would do this process. And since Sedona, what has changed is we're just taken on these massive ones. And a lot of times I don't remember after it because it's just so surrendered, and it's not of this world. It feels like you go within and you're in that 0 point and you're just kind of, your mind's blown. And if I was physically present for any of it, I think my mind I think it would be too much for my mental capacity to handle. But this week, and going through it, and all of this may age me, which is fine. we were taken through every place that our physical body has ever been. And you think like there's just not enough time in the day. Well, this moves so quickly, but you kind of are, you see every face and every place and every memory kind of go through so quickly. But every inner child we've done this ancestrally, and when you do ancestral or gestational, you're doing it for your parents or your family tree. You're not attached. You're not as attached as you were. You're clearing and cleansing, and you're calling those fragments back, and they're being transmuted and illuminated and transcended through the divine Father, Mother, God, and then that energy is coming back into you and it's flowing back into you, and it's finding all of the open space. Well, I was told today or this week that we needed to expand even more. And I'm like, I don't know if there's room. Like, I don't know if I have it in me, because our rings have gotten, our halos have gotten so expansive that we're like out into the galactical galaxy, universal cosmic. And we're interplaying with those energies every single day now. But when I was asked that I needed to expand even further, it was a show me where's that going to go? How is that going to happen? And so as every inner child stepped up, they brought me through the remembrance of every place that I had been, and every place that I had been had left an energetic imprint in that place. And if they lit it all up on a globe, you would see every place I've been my entire life. And this is also done on past lives as well. But the one we're focusing on, and that's been so magical this week, is this one. When you allow yourself, I'm just going to tap in and see if I can streamline this a little bit. Your blueprint awakens, and you are taken up into this bird's eye view of your life by every inner child. And they take you through your place of birth, things that you may or may not remember, or you've only been told stories of. They take you through your parents, your family, all the people that you've met, all the places that you were taken. If you were christened or baptized, they take you through that church. You were then taken through every place that you were maybe cared for. So whether that was a family member, your grandparents, or your aunts and uncles, they take you to you are taken to every friendship you've had, every babysitter you've had, every friend you've met along the way, and you get to kind of see their face and connection, whether that was neighborhood friends, the friends you stayed out, until the streetlights came on. They took you through all the places you traveled to or visited. You're taken to your, let's say, elementary school, to your kindergarten classroom, your first grade classroom, your second, third, fourth. You go through all the classrooms, all the teachers, all the friends you remember seeing, your gym that you jump rope for life. You'll see like the picture, the movie of that time and where your energy was. I was fascinated by like the cakewalk, which is kind of like musical chairs, and you walk around and step on numbers on the ground until the music stops, and whatever number you're on, you win something of the baked goods. If you did talent shows or singing competitions or choir, if you played in a band or did a musical instrument, you were not only taken through this movie of all these, every place that you had left an energetic connection, whether that was PE and dodgeball or the different things that you played, music, learning how to play the flute, was a big one. The little bell ringing things. Whether your classroom was in a school or if it was in a portable, or when you went out to recess, the playground, the big toy that you were on, the swings you sang on, those roundy merry-go-rounds, uh, the smell of the grass when it rained as you're walking the track with a friend. You see all the friends' faces of all those years. And so every inner child steps up and takes you through it. You go to your junior high, you go to your high school, you do the same thing. If you went into any weddings, any place. So if you had a paper route, every single house you put a newspaper on, every house you babysat at, every job you ever had. You're getting the drift. It takes you through the streets that you walked upon, the parks that you visited, you rode your bike, the hopscotch in front of your house. It takes you through these joyous moments. And then when you get to your energetic blueprint is everywhere you've ever been. And there are darker moments in there too, but you've at this point have already gone through your trash can multiple times. You've upcycled those traumas and insecurities. You've changed the narrative, changed the colors, offered forgiveness, and you've really done the work. So they no longer are a trigger for you to go back to those places. They're glitter, their gratitude, that it shows you how far you come and you get to stand in that power. And any place that you came across on this review that still had an attachment to you, that you had either more work to do or it needed to be illuminated for you, you now know, okay, I need to go back there. I'm not quite how I felt when I saw this place. The colors were not right. So it brought some of those things forward too, of work to be done, of another dance to dance. So it shows you kind of these breadcrumbs of things that you need to work on, as well as going through it. And once you've gone through it, what it did was you acknowledged it and it cleared it from any hold that it had upon you. And so it left love and gratitude in its place. So it really is cutting the cords. And there was a lot of, as you would get through one area and you're kind of bird's eye viewing over the map and you've gone through your entire neighborhood and every house you've ever been to within all the neighborhoods that surrounded your home, or if you lived in multiple places, the town that you went through, the places that you went to most, movie theaters and restaurants and roads that you drove on when you got your driver's license, places that you may have lived after you moved out of your parents' home, if you went to college, all of that, every place you worked. So then it moved on to your extended education years, or if you went straight into the workforce and went through your entire job history. And it even showed you like favorite days of the work you did, or favorite customers that you had, things that lit you up and that brought you joy. You just got to see all these flashes of all those things. Any adventures you went on, any hikes you went on, any national parks you went to, any oceans, it's literally, if you can just quantify, it's every place you've ever been was brought into this clearing. And it was leaving love and gratitude, waves of love and ripples of gratitude in every single place you've been. So you will forever be imprinted there, but you are no longer carrying those attachments to that memory, which is in the cellular muscle, the fascia. This is really what it is. Anything that fascia is holding, you've now released it and you've now made room for more. And it was so amazing that going through it, not only to see how far you've come and all the beautiful friendships you had along the way and all the faces of all those that you loved or loved to hate, or it showed bullies, and it showed everyone you've forgiven. It showed every person or boyfriend or girlfriend that you have crushed, that you have had. And if you flew places, you were taking up to the air and the space in between. If you went into waters and traveling places, all of that is there. If you were born in a foreign country, all of that energy was brought in, and you're just filled. You're just exuding all the energy of the imprints that you have, the legacy of the life that you have danced, your dance, your life's dance up until this moment. And when you cut all those cords, you leave love and gratitude behind, you've now expanded, you've cleared that out, and you are able to expand even more. And that is what we are in right now. We are in the expansion and elevation, levitation and illumination of even more, because there's more to come. There's more to do. There's more to see. There's more to feel. And this really brought me through the grief of all those cords that we had to cut, of our loved ones were, in a sense, leaving behind. And now we are given new purpose to continue forward. It's powerful. And they just keep saying, and there's more to come. You can expand even more. And if you are that energy bank, wait for it. Friends, brothers and sisters, it gets pretty intense, but very special when you realize what a gift it is to be carrying that energy and frequency for the collective. You're very special, each and every one of you, and just keep going, keep trying, keep expanding, keep embracing, keep embodying. Allow yourself to expand, to learn, to grow. Pick up all of those breadcrumbs, build your toast, bake your loaves, share your loaf. It's very powerful to speak. I'm almost like emotionally in tears, because I've been so silent for this year, and so much has happened, and so many miracles. I can only describe them as miracles that the Divine Father and Mother have continued to put in my path to heal. And I know all those manifestations and visualizations and intentions that are set for 2025 are all playing themselves out and will show up in the divine timing. Like, I know I can feel their energy, but it isn't anything I've had to put effort towards or actions towards. As long as I do follow this path of full surrender and service, and allow myself to embrace, embody, illuminate, or expand, evolve, elevate, illuminate, all those E's and I's. As long as I do that, it's all divinely being orchestrated for me. So if you're feeling like you haven't got where you wanted to be up until this point, just surrender more. Give it all to source, give it all to God, give it all, because that is who is placing those miracles in front of you, who you meet coming across this video, this connection, who is in your collective circle. It's building those communities. It's reaching out to those communities to find where you fit and that frequency match for you, and leaning in to it, embracing it, trusting in the messages you receive, and you may receive the clarity and or confirmations out there while you're on the internet or if you're on social media. When I was asked to step away from social media in September, I had only been back a few years. So it wasn't a huge thing for me as it is for some people who it's their life. What it has bridged me to is in these last few months is I was asked to turn off both my phone, all of my devices for 24 hours and to Reiki them and to infuse them with new codes and symbols and colors that I was given. And there wasn't any need or want. There wasn't anything pulling me like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I have to check this or I have to do that, because all of these breadcrumbs that I've been gifted over the last 6 months have brought me to a place in a space and a stillness that gave me just a few more extra hours of meditating, or I got to be creative in the kitchen, or I got to pull out and do some of the coloring when my hands allow. I got to try and do other things and be creative and dance a new dance for the day. Like, who doesn't need that? And I can tell you, once I've done that, everything that's come across my notifications on my phone, every connection through my phone and my computer has been divine, has been completely Akashic intelligence. It has blown my mind at the messages and the stuff that are coming through and the creative aspect of it that's coming through when I'm automatic writing or I'm voice noting, or today was my first go at reconnecting and sharing these messages other than to myself. So, I'm just going to ask if there is anything else from the Divine Father and Mother God that needs to be shared before I close out our powwow today. Making up for lost time. Live in the new world. You are of the new world. You are in the new world. There's no going back. There's only moving forward. And it's asking you to explore your new world. You will still have, though you have no connection to the lower vibrations and timeline, you will still have a transitional period of energy and things coming into your home and space, and you're being asked to bless everything with grace and gratitude. Bless everything that's coming in, that's going out. This is your mail. These are items you've received. If you have any negativity towards, let's say you use Amazon or DoorDash, or you have to, but you hate using, those thoughts are amplified. So change those thoughts into grace and gratitude and blessings. Bless everything that comes in. You can elevate, you can transmute, alchemize, and transcend everything. So even if it's groceries that are coming in, anything that's coming in from the outside world right now until the full transition happens, bless it with grace and gratitude and confirmation. Bless it with grace and gratitude. This is everything that's leaving as well. Your trash that are going out to the trash bins. Every time you flush the toilet or water, you're washing your hands, you're brushing your teeth. Everything that's leaving your life, bless it with grace and gratitude, leaving love and gratitude in its wake. Bless everything coming, bless everything going out. That will continue to keep your space elevated and illuminating. You can do the same with candles, sage. But really, when you light your own pillar, you are transmuting and alchemizing and transcending everything that you can do 3 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet, 80 feet if you want to. But as you are in your space, you are doing that just by tapping into your intuitive channel and lighting up your pillar. And hydrate. Infuse your water with the same grace and gratitude. Infuse it with love and healing and vitality, growth, using quartz crystals and copper, anything that brings purity and elevation to it, expansion to your water. I see jugs of water on a window ledge. Sunlight is huge. Working with your fascia system, starting from the feet up. Somatic healing, fascia system. I'm learning more about it. I don't know. That's a breadcrumb that I'm going to make into some toast, and I will share my loaf when it is ready to bake. But it's very important working from the feet up. Massaging your feet, your toes, because there's all the connections to your organs. Everything's connected through the feet, ears, hands, and face. So massaging your face, opening up your glands. And then there's the morphogenetic fields of the 8th through the 15th chakra that are coming online. Massive, major. I think I was 6 months ahead. That came through in September, October, November. And now it's coming out. The morphogenetic fields that run the 8th chakra, which is the high heart, the 9th chakra, which is the spinal cord channel, the mouth of God, the breath of God. And then it just kind of works its way out to the morphogenetic fields and up. And it goes 8th through 15th chakras are all coming online. So there'll be more information about that. When the bread is ready to bake, which it is. So I will work on that. I think that's it. I think we have emptied our light into you for right now. Sound chambers. Yeah, drop a comment or question if there's anything you have and you want clarity on or expansion upon, and I'll do my best to connect. And I'm just wrapping you in a big, huge hug. You never know when I sit down, if it's going to be an activation or if we're doing Reiki or if we're doing a meditation. Today, it was more of a pillow talk, divine messages, and some divine stories, which are really, really cool. I'm glad to be able to share with you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the other side of this rainbow.